The entire Akut village nearly stopped breathing that afternoon. Women at the market dropped their baskets. The palm wine tapper climbing a tree almost lost his balance. Even goats chewing cassava leaves lifted their heads in confusion. Why? Because everyone just witnessed something that had never happened before. The poorest boy in the village knelt down to propose to the richest girl. It was like watching a rat propose to a cat. "Jesus of Nazareth!" Mama Zara shouted from her stall, pressing her hand to her chest. "Did I just see right? Did Michael kneel down for Charity Henry? With that, his rubber slippers?" Yes, he did. And the way Charity looked at him that day could have turned rain to dry season. Let's rewind a little. Michael Hart was not born lucky. His late father, Papa Charles Hart, left behind a tiny piece of farmland and 3 children who needed more than prayers to survive. Since age 15, Michael had carried responsibility on his back like a bag of Gary. He farmed during the day, sold vegetables at the market, and took care of his mother who had been sickly for years. He had no car, no designer shirt, no money, just strong hands, an honest heart, and one unexplainable disease called love. And unfortunately, the love was directed at the one person who saw poverty as a spiritual infection. Charity Henry, the only daughter of Chief Henry, the wealthiest man in Akut. Chief Henry's house was not a house, it was a statement. Giant iron gates, white walls that looked freshly painted every morning, a garden so neat you'd think angels were the gardeners. Even the dogs wore name tags and ate rice. Charity, on the other hand, was beauty and pride wrapped in one body. Fair skin that glowed like morning pap, long lashes, soft voice, expensive clothes. She didn't walk, she glided. Whenever she passed, boys forgot how to breathe. But Charity didn't notice poor people, not even by accident. Her mother, Madame Grace, had raised her well, or should we say, strategically programmed her. "My daughter," she would say while painting her lips red, "never marry a man that sweats for a living. Sweat smells like frustration. Look at me, I married a rich man, and now I sleep like a princess. You see those women that married for love? They are washing clothes at the stream right now. Love does not boil yam, my dear." And Charity believed it. So when Michael showed up at a gate that day, dressed in his best Sunday special, a faded blue shirt neatly ironed, his hair greased with palm oil, and his heart beating like talking drum, the entire neighborhood knew drama was about to happen. The gateman, a tall man with a big stomach and zero patience, almost laughed himself into tears. "Who you dey find?" he asked, squinting like Michael was invisible. "Good afternoon, sir. Please." "I came to see Charity." "Charity?" the man chuckled. "You mean Madam Charity Henry, the one inside air-conditioned room? You dey craze?" Michael swallowed his pride. "Please, just tell her Michael Hart from the village is here. She knows me." The man sighed dramatically, then spat to the side. "You poor people no dey fear disgrace. Okay, wait here. When she insult you, no cry." He went inside. A few minutes later, the gate opened and Charity stepped out. The entire compound seemed to pause just to admire her. She wore a bright red dress that hugged her perfectly, gold earrings that danced in the sun, and perfume that smelled like ego and imported dollars. The gateman stepped aside like a servant to royalty. "Michael?" Charity's tone sliced through the air like a knife. "What are you doing here?" Michael's knees went weak. He tried to speak, but his tongue betrayed him. "Charity, please, I need to talk to you. Alone." She looked around. 2 maids and 3 curious onlookers had already gathered, whispering and giggling. Charity smirked. "Talk to me about what? You want to sell cassava or beg for money?" The laughter grew louder. Michael's lips trembled, but he managed to say, "Charity, I came to tell you how I feel. I know I'm not rich, but I have loved you for as long as I can remember. I may not have a car or fine clothes, but I have something money cannot buy. A heart that beats only for you." The crowd went silent. Even the gateman stopped chewing his gum. Michael reached into his pocket and pulled out a small ring, not gold, not diamond, but one he had made with his own hands from a thin wire. He knelt down right there in front of the gate. "Charity Henry," he said softly, "please give me a chance to make you happy. I will work hard. I will build a life for us. Just say yes." The silence that followed could bury a man. Then suddenly, Charity burst out laughing. Not just laughing, she threw her head back, clapped her hands, and laughed like she just heard the funniest joke of the century. "Michael Hart," she said between giggles. You propose to me? You that can't even afford slippers without holes? Please stand up before people think I'm running a charity organisation. The servants joined in. Someone shouted, Nawa'o, love don't suffer. Michael's eyes burned. He felt shame crawl under his skin. But he didn't get angry. He just smiled faintly. Charity, he said. Today you're laughing. One day life will rearrange this table, and when it does, I hope you'll still find it funny. He stood, dusted his knees, and walked away as the compound echoed with laughter. The moment he disappeared around the corner, Charity turned to her maids and said, Poor people should focus on their poverty, not romance. Love is sweet, but hunger is bitter. And life heard it, because life was listening. Charity walks a little towards the mansion, swinging her heaps. Then suddenly she turned to one of the guards. Run after Michael now and get him back here. He shouldn't have gone far. Charity barked. Everyone froze. The servants exchanged glances. The gateman, who had earlier laughed, now waited, curious to hear what she wanted to tell him. Just then the guard walked in with Michael, smiling and said, Charity, thank you. Is that your yes? Then it came, the laughter, not the kind that warms the heart. No, this was the kind that could peel the paint off a wall. Michael Hart, are you okay at all? Charity said between laughs, pointing at him like he was some strange animal. You're standing in front of my father's gate, smelling like roasted yam and sweat, and you're saying what again? That I should marry you? I called you to give full dose of your reply. The crowd gasped. Even a passing goat paused to listen. Michael's lips trembled, but he didn't speak. His eyes glistened with pain. Charity clapped her hands and continued, her voice rising with every sentence. You want me, Charity Henry, the daughter of Chief Henry, to marry you? A broke farmer that can't even afford shoe polish? Look at your slippers. Are those even slippers or retired tyres? The servants burst into laughter. The gateman was shaking his head, muttering, Ah! This one carried poverty with confidence, oh. But Charity wasn't done. No, she was just getting started. You think love is enough, Abai? She mocked, walking closer so everyone could see her perfectly polished nails and the gold anklet that jingled with every step. So after marriage, I'll be fetching water from the stream, carrying firewood on my head and frying Gary behind your mud house, eh? Maybe I'll even join your mother to sell pepper at the market. The crowd roared. One of the maids laughed so hard she almost dropped her broom. Michael's throat was tight. His heart felt like it was being crushed. He managed to whisper, Charity, I love you. I swear I'll work hard. I'll make you proud. Make me proud? She scoffed. Please, spare me. You can't even make yourself rich. I beg, don't disgrace yourself. You can't buy me love, Michael. You can't feed me with promises. Her words struck him like stones. But the real pain came when she took a step closer, looked him dead in the eyes and said, Go back to your level, poor boy. Go and marry your poverty. That's the only thing that will say yes to you. The servants laughed even harder. The gateman raised his voice. My friend, if you know what's good for you, start going before Chief Henry sees you here and orders me to flog you. Michael's body trembled, but he didn't cry. Not yet. He looked at Charity one last time, hoping she'd show a little mercy. But she simply adjusted her expensive dress, smirked, and said, Next time, look in the mirror before dreaming above your class. He nodded slowly and turned away. Each step he took felt heavier than the last. Behind him, her laughter followed like a curse. By evening, the whole of Akut village was buzzing with gossip, from the women frying akara by the roadside to the elders playing draft under the almond tree. Everyone had heard. Michael Hart went to propose to Chief Henry's daughter, and she finished him like assignment. That night, Michael sat alone in his small mudroom. His hands were clenched. His eyes were swollen from crying. The sound of frogs croaking outside mocked his silence. His mother slept in the next room, coughing weakly. His two little sisters, Peace and Hope, were curled up on one mat, their stomachs empty, but their faces peaceful. Michael looked up at the cracked ceiling and whispered, So this is how the world sees me. Just a poor boy, worthless, useless. But God, I swear on my father's grave, one day, they will know that a man's destiny is not tied to his pocket. He sat up, wiped his tears, and continued, Charity, you said I'll never be that man, right? Watch me, I'll rise, not for revenge, but to prove you wrong. That night he didn't sleep. He planned. He dreamed. He vowed. Before dawn, Michael was already awake. The rooster hadn't even crowed. He walked straight to the compound of the oldest man in Acot, Pa Elijah, the wise elder everyone respected. The man was sitting under his mango tree, blowing pipe smoke into the air as the morning breeze danced through his grey beard. "Pa Elijah," Michael greeted, kneeling respectfully. The old man squinted at him. "Ah, Michael Hart, the whole village has been talking about you since yesterday. You get mind-o." Michael bowed his head in shame. "Papa, I can't stay here anymore. I want to go to the city. I'll find work, start afresh. I can't remain the boy everyone mocks." Pa Elijah puffed his pipe, watching him carefully. "My son, Lagos is not for the faint-hearted. That city swallows people whole. It will tempt you, test you, break you." But he smiled faintly. "I see something in your eyes. You have the fire, and fire, my son, if it doesn't burn out, it refines gold." Michael's eyes welled up again. "I'll never forget where I come from, Papa. I'll take care of my mother and sisters. I'll never let money turn me into the kind of people who look down on others." Pa Elijah nodded, touched his shoulder and said, "Then go with my blessing. And when you succeed, and I know you will, remember Acot. Remember your people. Success is sweeter when it feeds others." That evening, Michael told his mother. She cried, clutching his hands. "My son, you're all I have left. What if something happens to you in that big city?" Michael smiled faintly, though his heart was breaking. "Mama, nothing will happen. I'll work hard. I'll send money home. One day you'll live in a fine house with no leaking roof, no hunger." His sisters, Peace and Hope, hugged him tightly, tears streaming down their faces. "Brother, please don't forget us," Peace said. Michael kissed their foreheads. "Forget you? Never. You're the reason I'm leaving." Before dawn, he packed his small bag, 2 shirts, 1 trouser, his father's old wristwatch, and a small Bible. He stepped outside quietly, breathing in the cold Acot morning air. As he walked down the red, dusty road, a few early risers saw him. Some pitied him. Others whispered, "That's the one Chief Henry's daughter embarrassed 2 days ago. He's running away." Michael didn't look back. He didn't respond. He just kept walking, barefoot, with determination in his eyes and one burning thought in his heart. "I will return, and when I do, Acot will never laugh at me again." By the time Michael Hart stepped out of the rickety bus at Ojuelegba Motor Park, his entire body was vibrating, partly from exhaustion, partly from the madness that surrounded him. Lagos was not a city. It was a noisy jungle with skyscrapers. Horns blared from every direction. Conductors screamed like they were in a wrestling match. Traders waved roasted corn and phone chargers in people's faces. Preachers shouted about repentance, and the smell, oh Lord, the smell was a confusing mixture of engine smoke, fried plantain, sweat, and frustration. Michael stood still, clutching his small brown bag that contained everything he owned in this world. 2 shirts, 1 pair of trousers, a Bible, and 3,200. The bag was so small, even a mosquito could carry it. He looked around, his face filled with innocent confusion. Lagosians moved like they were being chased by invisible demons. Nobody smiled. Everyone had that "don't try me" face. Michael muttered to himself, "So this is Lagos? Even the air is expensive." He dragged his dusty slippers and approached an old newspaper vendor sitting near a kiosk. "Good afternoon, sir. Please, I find work. Any work. I fit do anything." The old man looked up from his newspaper, studied Michael from head to toe, and sighed. "My pickin', everybody for Lagos they find work-o. Even the people we get jobs still they find another one. But if you get energy, try go that construction site we day after the bridge. Dem always they find people, we sabi carry load." Michael thanked him and started walking. He walked for almost an hour under the blazing sun. His shirt was soaked. His legs felt like they were no longer part of his body. He finally reached the construction site, a wide-open area filled with half-built walls, dust, and angry-looking men shouting over the noise of a generator. A big man with a pot belly and an everlasting toothpick in his mouth sat under a torn umbrella, shouting orders like a general in a war zone. That was Mr. Hillary, the site supervisor. Michael approached respectfully. "Good afternoon, sir. My name is Michael. I'm looking for work, sir. Any work at all?" Hillary looked at him like someone examining a fake product. "You get experience?" "Yes, sir. I fit do anything. I day strong. I work for farm for village before I come here." The man chuckled, showing his tobacco-stained teeth. "Ahen, farm boy. You fit carry cement?" "Yes, sir. Michael replied, puffing his chest a little. Good, workday. You go carry 50 kg cement from truck, go building. 1,000, 1,500 per day. You start 6 a.m, finish 6 p.m. If you late, no pay. If you rest too much, no pay. You hear? Michael's face lit up like Christmas light. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And just like that, his new life began. The job was hell wrapped in sweat. Each cement bag felt like a small mountain. By the end of his first day, his back was on fire, his hands looked like they had fought a wild animal, and his legs were shaking like a Nokia phone on vibration. But Michael didn't complain. He was used to hard work. While other workers sneaked away to smoke and gist under the tree, Michael kept working. When the others spent their pay on alcohol and pepper soup, he quietly counted his notes and saved them. He eventually found a small, suffocating room in a neighborhood called Golden. The place looked like poverty had rented a house there permanently. The room had no window, the roof leaked anytime rain fell, and he shared it with 5 other men who snored like generators. But rent was $5,000 per month, and to Michael that was a miracle. Every month he sent a small portion of his salary home to a cut village. His mother would cry with joy each time. God bless you, my son, she'd whisper on the phone. Those words kept him going. But Lagos nights were lonely. Sometimes he'd lie on his thin mat, staring at the broken ceiling, thinking of his mother's smile, and then Charity's mocking face would flash in his mind. You will never be that man, Michael. Never. Her words replayed in his head like a curse, but instead of breaking him, they became fuel. He whispered into the darkness, Charity Henry, I will become that man, not for you, for me. 6 months later, fate finally decided to stretch its leg a bit on his behalf. One Friday afternoon, a convoy of black SUVs rolled into the site. Out stepped Mr. Raymond Cole, a wealthy real estate mogul and owner of the construction company. His gold wristwatch alone could pay Michael's salary for a whole year. Mr. Cole was walking around with the site supervisor inspecting the project. As he passed, something caught his attention. A young man, soaked in sweat, still carrying cement while others rested. He paused. Who is that one? He asked, pointing at Michael. That one. Mr. Hillary replied, scratching his belly. Nah, Michael Hart. One village boy from Akot. 6 months now, never late, never complains. The boy too dey serious. Even dey gist with people. Mr. Cole nodded slowly. Call him for me. Michael, come here. Oga wants see you. Michael froze, his first thought, hope I never break cement bag again, oh. He dropped what he was carrying and walked quickly toward the boss, wiping sweat off his face. Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Michael Hart, sir. Where are you from? Akot village, sir. Education? Secondary school, sir. I wanted to go further, but... He smiled sadly. Life had other plans. Mr. Cole studied him for a moment. I've been watching you. You work when others rest. Why? Michael hesitated, then said quietly, Because, sir, I no get any backup. If I fall, nobody go catch me. My mother and 2 sisters depend on me, and I want to change my story. I can't afford to be lazy. Mr. Cole's lips curved into a small smile. You remind me of myself when I was your age. He stretched his hand. Would you like to work directly under me? I'm looking for someone honest, loyal, and hard-working. The pay is better, and you'll learn about business. Michael almost dropped dead. Sir, are you serious? Mysterious? Mr. Cole laughed. You think I look like a comedian? Report to my office on Monday. Victoria Island. Here's my card. Michael held the business card like it was made of diamonds. It was made of diamonds. That night, he couldn't sleep. He prayed until morning, whispering, Mama, your son dom finally enter air-conditioned office, oh? When he stepped into Mr. Cole's company that Monday morning, his jaw dropped. The building looked like a palace, shining marble floors, glass elevators, and people who smelled like imported confidence. Michael's entire outfit cost less than one of the receptionist's nails, but he didn't care. Mr. Cole personally welcomed him. Michael, I'll start you as my assistant. Got it. Mr. Cole personally welcomed him. Michael, I'll start you as my assistant. Follow me, observe, and learn. I'll teach you everything, but never forget where you came from. Michael nodded firmly. Yes, sir, I won't disappoint you. And he didn't. For the next 2 years, Michael became a shadow of Mr. Cole, following him to meetings, learning how deals were made, how contracts were won, how real men moved. While others wasted their evenings chasing women and clubbing, Michael spent his nights reading borrowed business books and watching YouTube tutorials on investment. He still lived in the same tiny room, still sent money home, still ate once a day. But now his dreams had teeth. Because deep down, he knew, the day he returned to Akot village, the same girl who mocked him, Charity Henry, would not even recognize the man he had become. And when she did, her knees would tremble. 2 years had passed like harmattan breeze. In the bustling city of Lagos, Michael Hart was no longer that thin village boy who once borrowed slippers to attend youth meetings in a cat. The same boy Charity once told, "You're not that man, and you'll never be," was now the man every businessman wanted to meet. One sunny afternoon, Michael got a call from his boss, Mr. Cole, a man known for his sharp suits, deep voice, and unpredictable surprises. "Michael, come to my office," Mr. Cole said over the intercom. Michael quickly straightened his tie, adjusted his old but well-pressed blazer, and walked in. "Sir, you called me?" Mr. Cole leaned back in his leather chair, smiling like a man who had just won a bet. "Yes, Michael. You've been here for 2 years now. I've watched you work. Early mornings, late nights, no complaints. You've learned fast and you've proved yourself. You're ready." Michael blinked. "Ready? Ready for what, sir?" Mr. Cole chuckled softly. "To fly." Michael frowned. "Sir, I don't understand." Mr. Cole opened his drawer and brought out an envelope. "Inside this is a cheque for 50 million naira. It's not a gift, it's a seed. Start something, grow it. When you succeed, pay me back." Michael froze, his mouth slightly open. 50 million? "Yes," Mr. Cole said, smiling warmly. "You remind me of myself when I was your age. Hungry, but not desperate. I believe in you, Michael." Michael's voice cracked. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything," Mr. Cole replied, patting his shoulder. "Just make me proud. And remember, real success isn't how much money you make, but how many lives you lift." That was the moment everything changed. Michael left that office with trembling hands and a heart full of gratitude. He didn't waste time. Within weeks, he rented a small warehouse and started a construction supply business. Just sand, cement, and a crazy dream. He slept in his warehouse sometimes, on a mat with rats as his roommates, but he never gave up. Contractors soon noticed the young man who always delivered on time, rain or shine. In 6 months, he doubled his profits. In a year, he had 3 warehouses. By the second year, he registered Heartstone Construction Limited. He became a man on a mission. No rest, no shortcuts, no nonsense. He treated his workers like brothers and fed them during lunch breaks. He would say, "If you treat people like humans, they'll move mountains for you." And they did. 7 years after leaving Akot, Michael Hart was now a name that turned heads in Lagos. He owned fleets of trucks, several properties, and his company was among the top in the city. He bought a house in Lekki, yes, Lekki, where even rent can make a grown man cry, and drove a sleek black Mercedes-Benz that made his village friends think he joined cult. But success never changed him. Michael never forgot those muddy Akot roads, or the sting of being looked down upon. Every month, he sent money home to his mother. He built her a fine bungalow, painted cream and wine, with running water, generator, and a flat-screen TV bigger than her door. His sisters, Peace and Hope, now walked with pride. Peace was studying medicine, and Hope was in her final year in secondary school. Mama Hart, once mocked for her poverty, now had servants calling her Madam. But even in all this glory, one name refused to leave Michael's mind: Charity Henry. Sometimes late at night, after closing big deals and laughing with Lagos elites, Michael would sit on his balcony, look at the city lights, and remember her words. "You're not that man. You'll never be that man." Those words burned in his soul, but in a good way. They became the fuel that powered his greatness. He often smiled bitterly and muttered, "Well, look at me now!" But let's move to Akot village, because something was brewing there. Charity Henry's life had taken a different turn, one even Nollywood scriptwriters would call village karma. After Michael left, she became the most sought-after girl in Akot. Rich men, politicians and city boys lined up with flowers and promises. But Charity, with her sharp tongue and her mother's encouragement, rejected them one after another. "This one's car is too old. This one's shirt smells like stress. This one, his wristwatch can't even tell real time." Madam Grace Henry, her mother, always backed her. "My daughter must marry rich or not marry at all. We are Henrys, not ordinary people." Then, one fine day, Chief Chika rolled into a cart with a Range Rover that made every villager's neck turn. He wore a gbada like it was part of his skin, spoke with confidence, and carried an aura that screamed, "Money has arrived." When he saw Charity, he stopped breathing for 5 seconds. "Who is that angel?" he asked. "That's Chief Henry's daughter," someone replied. "Good," he said with a grin. "I'll marry her." And just like that, within a month, there was a wedding that shook a cot to its roots. The food flowed like a river. Music blasted till the next thing. People said, "God really loves this girl." Charity wore a white gown that could have paid a teacher's salary for a year. Her mother danced till her wig fell off. Her father boasted, "My daughter married a chief. We have arrived." But inside the fine lace of that wedding gown was a ticket to misery. Chief Chika, the man of wealth, turned out to be a man of many wives and a world-class liar. Charity was wife number 6. The man was controlling, cruel, and had hands faster than Nipah light. He would come home drunk, reeking of alcohol, and yell, "You think you're special? You're my property!" The same girl who once looked down on others now washed clothes for 5 other wives and ate cold rice with no meat. When she cried to her mother, Madame Grace said, "Endure, my daughter. Marriage is not easy." But things got worse. Chief Chika's empire collapsed faster than his lies. Turns out his businesses were built on borrowed money and pride. Creditors started coming with threats. One even seized his Range Rover in broad daylight. Soon, Chief disappeared like smoke, leaving Charity with nothing but debts, insults, and faded beauty. Her fine clothes became rags, her skin lost its glow. The other wives mocked her daily. "You that said you're special, see your life!" Eventually, she was thrown out of the house. Homeless, heartbroken, and humiliated, Charity returned to Akkad. Her father's mansion was no longer the palace it used to be. The compound looked like poverty had moved in permanently. Chief Henry was broke, sick, and tired. When he saw his daughter at the gate, thin, barefoot, and broken, he could barely speak. "Daddy," Charity whispered, her voice trembling. "Please forgive me. Can I stay here?" Chief Henry's eyes welled up. He nodded slowly. "Come inside, my daughter." Madame Grace cried loudly, holding her daughter close. "What did that man do to you, my baby?" But Charity only wept. At night she sat outside, staring at the same moon she once stared at with Michael years ago. Tears rolled down her cheeks as her mind replayed every cruel word she said to him. "You are not that man. You will never be that man." Now she was the one without a man, without money, without pride. She whispered to the wind, "If I could go back in time, I would choose differently. I was blind. I was foolish." It had been 9 good years since Michael Hart packed his nylon bag and left Akkad village with nothing but dreams, hope, and 2 faded shirts. Time had turned that once barefoot farm boy into a name that echoed in the city. But back in Akkad, life went on. The same gossiping aunties, the same dusty roads, the same sun that never had mercy. Then, one hot Tuesday afternoon, just when goats were busy arguing with themselves in the market square, a messenger rode into Akkad on an Okada, honking like a madman. "Attention, oh, important announcement," he shouted, waving a white paper like election results. The villagers gathered instantly, because in Akkad, any small gist spreads faster than wildfire on dry grass. He cleared his throat dramatically. "A wealthy businessman from Lagos is coming to visit Akkad. He said he was born here and wants to give back to the community." The crowd erupted in confusion and excitement. Who be that one again? Maybe it's one of Chief Henry's friends. Or maybe one of those abroad children who now speak through their nose. Old Chief Henry, sitting under the mango tree, grinned proudly and adjusted his wrapper. Maybe my connection is finally paying off," he said, tapping his cane. Madame Grace Henry, with her usual flair, hissed, "I hope it's not one of those small boys who thinks spraying money makes them big men." The villagers didn't care who he was. All they heard was "rich man coming." They swept the village square, hung up decorations, and brought out their best chairs, the ones they only used for burials and weddings. Women pounded yam like never before, children rehearsed songs. Even the goats were confused. By noon the next day, the whole village was waiting under the scorching sun, their eyes fixed on the road. Then, vroom! Engines roared from a distance. Dust rose. A convoy of shiny black SUVs entered Akkot like a presidential parade. The villagers gasped. "Jesu! Look at that car! You can see your face in the paint!" "Is that air conditioner coming out of the car window?" One by one, bodyguards in suits and dark glasses stepped out, scanning the area like FBI agents. Then the main car, a black Mercedes-Benz, stopped right in the centre. The door opened slowly, and out stepped a tall, well-built man in a charcoal suit, shoes glistening like morning dew. His wristwatch flashed in the sun, and his scent, my God, it was the kind of perfume that said, "Poverty, don't come near me." The whole village went silent. Everyone squinted, whispering to each other. "Who is he? He must be a senator." "No, maybe a big pastor." But old Papa Elijah, standing among the elders with his cane, stared deeply at the man's face. He blinked, then blinked again. His jaw dropped, his cane almost fell. "Michael?" he croaked, his voice trembling. "Michael Hart, is that you?" The man smiled and removed his sunglasses. "Yes, Papa," he said softly. "It's me. I've come home." For 2 seconds, the village was frozen in disbelief. Then, pandemonium. People screamed, women jumped, men shouted, children started running in circles for no reason. Michael, the poor boy that used to weed people's farms? The one who borrowed slippers for Sunday service? "Ah, God is wonderful, oh!" Even the gossiping aunties who once mocked his mother now pretended they had always prayed for him. "I knew that boy would make it," they lied proudly. Michael walked straight to the elders, knelt and bowed. "Papa, thank you for your blessings. Your words gave me strength." Papa Elijah wiped tears with the edge of his wrapper. "My son, you left this village with nothing but a dream. Now look at you. God has truly honored you." Meanwhile, at the back of the crowd, Chief Henry stood with his wife, sweating in confusion. "Wait, that Michael?" he whispered. "The same one my daughter insulted?" Madame Grace's smile faded like phone battery on 1%. Jesus of a cut. And in the midst of all the cheers, Charity Henry stood half-hidden behind some women, her heart pounding so hard it could start a generator. When she heard Michael Hart, her knees nearly gave way. She pushed forward slightly, and when her eyes landed on him, her entire world stopped. That was him, the same boy she once laughed at, the one she told, "You can never be that man," the same one who left her compound in tears, humiliated and heartbroken. But he wasn't the same anymore. He stood like royalty, tall, polished and calm. Lagos had washed off every trace of village from his body. Tears blurred her vision. She covered her mouth, trying not to sob aloud. Michael faced the crowd. His voice was calm, deep and confident, the kind that made even the chickens stop clucking. "My people," he began, "I left Akkot many years ago with nothing. No shoes, no money, just faith and determination. Some of you pitied me, some of you mocked me, but God turned my story around. And today, I am not here to show off. I am here to give back." The crowd erupted in cheers again. Michael continued, raising his hand slightly. "From today, I'm building a secondary school here in Akkot, with laboratories, library, and qualified teachers. I'll also provide clean water for every home. No woman should trek kilometers again just to fetch water. I'm also building a health centre so no one has to die because they couldn't reach the city hospital in time. And last but not least, a skills acquisition centre so that our young people won't have to run away from this village to survive like I once did." The place went wild. People screamed, danced, and clapped. Even the drummers started playing without invitation. "Michael Don Blow!" someone shouted. Papa Elijah cried openly. "God, you are too much!" he wailed, wiping tears with his sleeve. But while joy filled the air, Charity stood rooted to the ground, her tears pouring freely now. Every word from Michael hit her like thunder. "You'll never be that man. You'll never be that man." Her own voice echoed in her head like a curse. She wanted to disappear. Michael's eyes swept across the crowd, and then he saw her. Time froze. Her hair was rough. Her wrapper was faded. Her once radiant beauty was now worn by suffering and regret. But those eyes, he knew those eyes anywhere. Their gazes met. No anger, no pride, no gloating, just calm silence. Then he turned away. Charity's lips trembled. She wanted to run to him, to beg, to fall at his feet, but shame held her captive. That evening, Michael returned to the new bungalow he had built for his mother, a house that made every villager secretly jealous. Mama Hart, now glowing with good food and peace, burst into tears when she saw her son. "My son! My golden boy! I knew God would lift you." Peace and Hope, his younger sisters, hugged him tightly. Peace was studying medicine in the university. Hope had just gotten admission to study law. They sat laughing and eating together when someone knocked softly at the door. Michael stood up. "I'll get it, Mama." He opened the door. There she was, Charity Henry, head bowed, hands shaking, tears glistening in her eyes. She looked nothing like the proud village princess she once was. "Michael," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Please, can we talk?" The compound went silent. Even the night breeze stopped to listen. Her once glamorous face was now tired and pale. Her expensive perfume had been replaced with the smell of sweat and sorrow. Her wig sat awkwardly on her head like it had given up too. "Michael," she whispered, her voice breaking, "I know I have no right to come here, but please, I need to talk to you. Just a few minutes." Michael took a deep breath and stepped outside, closing the door gently behind him. The night air was cold, and so was his tone. "What do you want, Charity?" She tried to speak, but her lips trembled. Then suddenly, to everyone's shock, she dropped to her knees in the sand. "Please, Michael, forgive me. I was blind. I was stupid. I judged you by your pocket instead of your heart. You're richer in soul than any man I ever met, but I was too proud to see it. I thought I was smart marrying for money, but the man I married destroyed me. He beat me, cheated on me, and left me with nothing but shame. My father has lost everything, and my mother," her voice cracked, "she cries every day. I have nothing left, nothing but regret." Michael just stood there silent, his face unreadable. Charity looked up, tears streaming down her face. "I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm not even asking for love. Just forgive me. Please. I can't sleep at night knowing what I did to you." Michael's eyes softened. He remembered that day at her gate, the laughter of her father's guards, her voice that sliced through his heart like a cutlass. "You'll never be that man." For years, those words burned him alive, but then he remembered Papa Elijah, the old man who had once told him, "Son, don't let wealth change your heart. Kindness is the real gold." Michael bent slightly, helping her to her feet. "Charity," he said softly, "stand up. You don't need to kneel before me." She hesitated, then stood trembling. "Yes, you hurt me," Michael continued. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. For months, your words were like echoes in my head. You're not that man. Those words pushed me. They made me wake up earlier, work harder, and dream bigger. In a funny way, your rejection built me." He smiled faintly. "I forgave you a long time ago, not because you earned it, but because holding on to bitterness would have poisoned me. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." Charity's eyes widened. "You forgave me?" "Yes," he said simply, "but forgiveness doesn't mean I've forgotten. It means I've chosen peace over pain." Charity burst into tears again. "Michael, you're a better person than I'll ever be. I threw away a diamond while chasing fake gold." Michael chuckled quietly. "You didn't even get gold, Charity. You got brass, shiny outside, rotten inside." Even she let out a small, broken laugh. Then Michael reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope. "Here," he said, handing it to her. She frowned. "What is this?" "Money," he said simply. "Enough to start a small business, open a shop, do something meaningful. Don't waste it. And this time, measure people by their heart, not their car key." Charity's hands shook. "Michael, why would you help me? After all I did to you?" He smiled sadly. "Because someone helped me when I had nothing. And if I can't help someone from my own village, then what's the point of all this success?" She clutched the envelope to her chest. "I don't deserve this." Michael turned to go inside. "None of us deserve grace, Charity. That's why it's called grace." He paused. "And I heard your father's health is failing. I'll visit him tomorrow, not because he deserves it, but because it's the right thing to do." Charity broke down completely, sobbing uncontrollably as Michael went back inside. The next morning, Michael arrived at Chief Henry's compound. The once mighty man who had once thrown him out like trash was now lying on a worn mat, too weak to sit up. His wife, Madame Grace, was sitting beside him, her face pale and tired. When she saw Michael, she gasped. "Michael Hart, my son, you came?" Michael smiled gently. "Good morning, Ma. I came to see how Chief is doing." Chief Henry raised his head slowly. His voice was faint but full of shame. "Michael, the poor boy from a cot. You've become the man I once mocked. I was a proud fool. I thought money made me powerful. Now look at me, broke, sick, and forgotten." Michael sat down beside him. Sir, I didn't come to remind you of the past. I came to help. Chief Henry blinked in confusion. Help? After everything I did to you? Michael smiled faintly. If God treated us the way we treat people, none of us would survive, sir. He turned to his assistant. Arrange for Chief Henry to be taken to the city hospital. All bills on me. Madame Grace burst into tears. Michael, God will bless you. You're a true son of this land. Chief Henry could barely speak. Michael, you are a better man than I ever was. I lost everything chasing wealth, but you found riches, character. Words spread through a cut like wildfire. Michael Hart helped the man who once insulted him. The villagers couldn't stop talking. Children sang songs about him. Mothers prayed for him. The young men now called him Akkut's pride. He spent the following weeks supervising the new school, health centre, and water project. He paid his workers fairly, ate with them, and even joked with the bricklayers. He had become both a role model and a legend. One evening, Papa Elijah, now frail and weak, called for him. My son, he said softly, when you came to me years ago, broken and hungry, I saw something in you. Many would have turned bitter, but you used your pain as fuel. You have returned richer, but you're still humble. That's true success. Michael's eyes grew misty. Papa, everything I am is because of your words. Papa smiled faintly. Promise me, my son, that no matter how far you go, you'll never forget where you came from, and you'll always lift others as you climb. Michael squeezed his hand gently. I promise, Papa. 3 days later, Papa Elijah passed peacefully in his sleep. Michael personally handled the burial, giving the old man the honourable farewell he deserved. Back in Lagos, Michael's businesses grew across the country. He became one of Nigeria's youngest billionaires, but his humility remained intact. He sponsored scholarships, funded hospitals, and built a foundation for orphans. One day during an interview, a journalist asked, Sir, what's the secret of your success? Michael smiled. Rejection, pain, and God's grace. Money can build empires, but only character can sustain them. Years later, Michael married Gloria, a kind, calm woman who loved him not for his money, but for his heart. They had 3 children, David, Ella, and Grace, whom he taught humility, hard work, and generosity. And as for Charity Henry, she used the money to start a small tailoring business. She rebuilt her life from scratch. Slowly, she became a voice to other young women. Whenever she spoke at women's programs, she would begin with these words. I once rejected a good man because he was poor. I learned the hard way that money without character is a curse. Don't make my mistake. Hello, beloved viewers. What a journey, right? This story reminds us that life can humble the proud and elevate the humble. Charity judged Michael by his pocket, forgetting that destiny doesn't wear designer clothes. But Michael proved that when your heart is pure and your hustle is honest, even rejection becomes a stepping stone to greatness. Moral lessons. Never look down on anyone because of their condition. Tables turn faster than Lagos traffic. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's freedom. Michael showed that true power is in mercy, not revenge. Character will take you farther than money ever will. Parents, teach your children to value people, not possessions. And remember, grace is never deserved, yet we all need it. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let's spread this message of hope and humility. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you were in Michael's shoes, would you have helped Charity and her father? And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to catch the next powerful story. Until next time, stay humble, stay kind, and never forget, your current situation is not your final destination.